Eating dinner at Whole Foods and eating my favorite salmon rice bowl that I love that they have. It's so good. And this man with his two kids came right next to me, and he's looking for a table, and all the tables were full. And then finally he tells a guy, and the guy moves over, and he and his kids sit down. So he gets up from the table and he seems frustrated. I think his daughter needed to go to the bathroom. And so he gets up and he talks to the attendant that is kind of right there. And I think what he was trying to say was that he needed to take his daughter to the bathroom, but he was frustrated because he had all of his like hot food had already been all displayed on the table, and he was trying to put a napkin over it. Seeing his frustration, I stood up and I just said, excuse me, would you like me to take your daughter to the bathroom? I'm a mom, I understand that. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. So I, called the little girl and I took her hand and I walked to the bathroom. I have to tell you, I was immediately thinking, you're crazy. You're crazy that you are allowing me to take your daughter to the bathroom. Although I understand it, but it's the world that we live in. We as parents know the number one rule is never, ever, 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 ever let your kids go with strangers, ever. I got her into the bathroom and I pulled the toilet paper out and I, put her up onto the toilet seat. I think she maybe 2.5, 3 years old. She's a very little girl. Okay, she's so cute. Had like little dreadlocks, was just precious. And so I said, okay, I'm going to put you in the bathroom and then I'm just going to stand right outside the door so you can do your business. She wants to talk to me, so she wants to chat with me. She wants to know, where are my little girls? And I tell her I have 3 daughters, but they're not little and how old they were. And then she says, well, I have a baby. And I said, you do have a baby? She says, yes. And I said, your baby brother? And she's like, yes, he's my brother. And then I say, your hair is so pretty. And she says, my auntie did my hair. It's taken a while now. And I'm like, are you finished? I said, do you have to go number 2? And she just smiling at me and, just kind of sitting there. I said, okay. And then a little bit, I'm like, are you finished now? Do you need help getting off the toilet? And then she said, yes. And so I helped her get down. And then she was trying to half pull up her pants and run out the door. I'm like, no. So I helped her pull up her pants. And I said, we have to wash our hands. And she went to the sink and we put the soap and she was super happy. The door, and she ran as fast as she could back to her dad. I told her dad that she had been such a good girl and, she was so cute. Said, thank you so much, God bless you, and he put his hand out and shook my hand. And then I said, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? Because I knew he had, a thick accent. You have an accent. Where are you from? And he said, oh, I'm from Africa. And he says, but, the girls, that the children were born here and that the mom is from Chicago. That's awesome. And then he says, are you single? Okay. Yes, I am. So then he says, I would love to invite you to my church. I said, I go to church. Really lovely church. And I said, you have good music at your church? I said, I love to sing. And he said, yes, we do. Well, I have a church that I go to generally on Saturdays or Sundays. I said, do you have another day of the week that your church service is? And he says, well, we have one on Wednesday. He goes, but I would really like you to come at least one time on Sunday morning. Please have your number. I will text you the church. So I was thinking in my mind, okay, is this just a pickup? Although he didn't seem like the pickup kind of guy, but I gave him my number. Then I said to him, Saul is his name. I said, I just want you to know, you have to be so careful with your kids. I said, obviously, I'm a good person, but you should never, ever let someone you don't know take your children anywhere. I said, in a second, your daughter could have been gone. And I said, your back was turned. And I said, in this world, I said, there's some really horrible ugliness that's happening in this world. And you are so right. I have to be so careful. And I understand it. He's a single dad. He says, I'm a single dad, and it's so hard with these 2 little kids. Goodbyes, and he said, I'll be sure to text you for Sunday's church service. And so I was thinking about this, that it takes a village to raise kids. Thinking about my new friend Saul on the drive home, and I thought, okay, he's from Africa, and I've never been to Africa, but certainly what I envision the African culture to be, and certainly what I've been exposed to on TV and in video is, and stories and all of that, is that they are very oriented to be a family and take care of one another, that the whole village, if you will, take care of one another. I've always loved that. I love that mentality that you have other people looking out for your children, that obviously it's your responsibility, but that you feel safe enough to do so. That is not the world we live in. That is not the world we live in. And it's a really sad state that we're in. It makes me so unbelievably sad. So what's the solution? I know I want to be a part of that village that helps lift up and supports and gives a helping hand when necessary. But there's that trust factor of there's so much darkness in the world that how do you build that trust? I don't want our world to be where we are so afraid to do anything because of all the dark forces out there. But unfortunately, that's about where we're at. I knew the solution to this, but I don't. But I do know a couple of things, and that is, A, be a good neighbor. Be the kind of person that does help when you see something that you see someone in need. Be that kind of person that offers a helping hand. As far as children and all of the dark things that are happening now, AKA like Sound of Freedom, be the kind of good Samaritan, the good human. And I know there are a lot of you out there. When you see something that doesn't look right, smell right, or feel like, stand up. Busy and our faces are in our phone and we're not paying attention, but we got to wake up, people. We got to wake up and see, because I believe there's so much happening right underneath our nose. And then most importantly, don't let your kids go with strangers. There are way too many horror stories, and in an instant, so many videos about moms talking about do not let your kids go to the bathroom by themselves, that inside the bathroom that there are predators waiting for your kids. I called my daughter as soon as I got in the car and I told her what had happened. And I think what was most terrifying to me, I said, honey, honestly, I could have walked out the door with that little girl and he would have never known. His back was turned. He would have never known. I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. But what worries me is that when you are trusting like that, his little girl could be in a second.